want to turn now to one of our top stories. WestJet, Air Canada, Air Transat, and Porter Airlines are now restarting service to and from Puerto Vallarta today. Travelers heading to Mexico from Toronto's Pearson Airport this morning say they are feeling safe so far.
I trusted the process, and we thought we'll be ready to go when we get the go-ahead.
It'll be interesting to see what it's like, but we also have people down there that we're in communication with, so I think we've got some good information that it's safe to go, and we will observe all the rules that they have down there in terms of sheltering in place, and hopefully things will get all back to normal soon.
So this obviously comes as the region is reeling from a weekend of violence. It started Sunday after the death of a notorious cartel leader during a government operation. For more on what Canadians with upcoming travel plans to Mexico need to know, or those that are there right now, we are joined in studio by travel journalist Loren. Good morning. Good morning. This feels complicated because there's so many Canadians that are down in Mexico. Yeah. The registered number is like 26,000 right now. We had heard earlier this morning, airlines are now flying back again. But I'm wondering, if you're there and your flight was canceled and you were stranded and are stranded right now, do you have to rebook your flight yourself? Does the airline do that for you? How does this work?
Well, according to the airlines, they will contact you. So if you're there, they want you, they say do not head to the airport without having confirmation from the airline that you're booked. They will contact you is the official word from them.
Okay, so it's not on you at this point. No. But then, I was saying to you off camera, I was talking to my sister who has friends down in Mexico, and they can't even get a flight out until March 1st. So there's a period of time where you still may be stuck there.
Absolutely.
If your flight was canceled. So what do you do in terms of, stays and where you're going to stay and all of that?
Well, hopefully the airline will work with you on some of those details. If not, keep every receipt, keep everything that you have. WestJet even says, on their website, they're saying, make sure that you keep any expenses incurred. They will look at and analyze as they go. So just keep track of all your expenses, keep every receipt you'd have, follow the direction of the airline, and of course anything from the government or local authorities.
What about travel insurance? What does it cover in situations like this?
Yeah, travel insurance, if your trip was either canceled outright and you didn't walk out the door, or you were in the middle of the trip and things got interrupted, anything that you do not get a refund for, most insurance should cover. Now, really, obviously, always depends on the policy, how extensive it was, but for the most part, most of it, or at least up to 80%, I think is the number that I heard floated around, should be covered if it is something that interrupted your trip.
The federal government is advising Canadians, I'm going to quote here, exercise a high degree of caution while visiting anywhere in Mexico. For people, we heard a clip of two people there. They're at the airport this morning. They're headed down to Mexico. With people who have trips that are coming up, because March break is coming up as well, is it safer, in your opinion, to stay at a resort or a short-term rental?
You know what, that's an interesting question. I think it really depends on what you're comfortable with. I don't think there's one or the other that's better or worse. Resorts, people maybe feel it's a personal thing. Maybe they feel that it's, stronger to have strength in numbers and be surrounded by people. Maybe they feel a little isolated if they're an Airbnb. But I was talking to an Airbnb yesterday about all this, and, they've been communicating with people through their app. They have emergency information. All the good hosts have emergency information that they have there. So I don't think it honestly really matters. What matters is that you have someone that you can be in contact with and feel comfortable. I think my main piece of advice there is if you are at an Airbnb, make sure that there's good internet, because the key is you want to be able to be communicated with. So again, it's very much a personal risk tolerance and what you're comfortable with, but I would be comfortable staying in either one.
What do you think the long-term implications of all of this could be?
It's interesting. I think right now it feels like, oh, wow, this is going to be a real significant blow. I think it's amazing, these popular tourist destinations, if the deal is right, people are pretty quick to move on to the next thing. And I think as long as that there's not another incident, I always, I was looking at it, and you mentioned about the travel advisory. They have a heightened travel advisory right now that could go down. It makes things feel a little uncomfortable, but when you look on the advisories at the Government of Canada, the same level of travel advisory is against Italy, France, and Spain right now, and has been for a while.
Oh, interesting.
Because of the threat of terrorism. So it's really about your own personal risk tolerance. You hear from many of these people going, oh, we're going down, we're fine. And I think when you talk to people on the ground anecdotally, I mentioned off camera my mother-in-law is down there. She's fine. She's not rushing back. It's that personal level of risk tolerance. So I think in the immediate future, there are going to be a few people that go, I'm just not comfortable with this. But I think more than ever, I don't think there'll be a long-term implication personally. And I think, again, what I always say to people is travel is so personal. You're going on vacation. It's a holiday. If you're nervous about it, don't go.
Yeah.
Why would you go somewhere that you're not comfortable and going to enjoy yourself? But I think more people are going to be attracted by the sunshine and maybe perhaps a few good deals that might come out of this if things drop off. So I don't think the long-term implications, provided nothing else happens, are going to be huge.
We do appreciate you stopping by today, Loren Christie. Thank you.
Thanks.